Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush. Thank you, Boo. Way of the Brush, thank you, Boo. Another episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, a.k.a. The Name Butcher, a.k.a. Hey, you get off my lawn, a.k.a. Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually delve into a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun. So meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So first time viewers, be warned. We can go off the rails pretty darn fast around here. So if you want your questions answered, persist or send me an email. One of the two. Of course, you are sending me an email. Send them as attachments. Don't send them off as links to other sites because I just won't do it. So it's in the description below. Kris at Way of the Brush. Of course, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all this silliness, has links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. So feel free to join us on Discord and share whatever you're working on, or just lurk and just listen and whatever's right. So it's Discord. You can do whatever you like. Well, not whatever you like, but whatever you like. Also, at wayofthebrush.com is a link for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine tastefully. A tasteful picture. That's what I'm saying. I'll add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. And of course, there's also a link for Patreon support. Huge thank you to all my patrons who currently support me. Without your support, all this stuff would not be possible. And so a huge thank you to everybody who currently supports, and a huge thank you to anybody who's considering supporting. There's varying tiers to support at, and I do have other tutorials and stuff like that, and I also have patron only tutorials as well, so stuff that I post only for patrons. So there is something there for those that enjoy like a little bit of exclusivity. Also, there's some I haven't mailed out any new ones, but gotta get on top of it. But yeah, anyway, dice. There's also dice and other little fun little things as well that I send out for patrons at varying tiers. So check it out, and thank you for considering. Of course, if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, clicking thumbs up, liking, following, subscribing, sharing the video, commenting, all that helps the channel and the videos as well. So a huge thank you. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button, and you're helping me out a great deal. So huge thank you to everybody who does interact with the videos. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guy Muir Alfair, aka Beard and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Big thank you to Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. And so we always say thank you to Carl, even though he's no longer with us, but we still take the time to thank Carl. So, and of course, big thank yous to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro outro music that plays the beginning and end of the show. Always much love to my baby bro. And of course, if you're into rare comics, check him out, EB Comics. It's in the description. If you scroll down, you'll see Evan, and then you'll see EB Comics. Click it, and he might have what you're looking for. And of course, he's always posting new stuff that he's finding within his vaults. So yeah, check him out, and stay in tune with what he's up to. Where am I? I don't know. I'm already lost. We just started and I'm already lost. Did anybody catch the preview this morning? The Games Workshop preview. Reveal. Whatever it is. Preview reveal? Reveal preview? I missed it this morning. I was into other crap this morning and I completely forgot about it. But I just boned up on it real fast. Yeah, boned up on it. And yeah, interesting. Very interesting. We'll talk more about it later. Evan Belleau, what's up, everybody? Raziel, what up? Ghost Starman Deluxe. Hey, Kris and Monkeys. Currently sat in the car park at Tesco, waiting for my parents to return with the shopping. Tesco. I don't know what a Tesco is. I'm going to assume that's a chain of grocery store in the UK. I'm going to assume. Doesn't sound very appetizing. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds more like a testing company, like somewhere where they have test tube babies. You know what I mean? Like something like that. That's my first thoughts. Tesco. It's kind of fun to say. Tesco. James of Kent. Afternoon, Kris and everyone. Afternoon. Sir Peanut Butter. Morning, Kris and peeps. Kris Dilly. Dilly. Good day to Kris and all. Hope you are all well. I hope you so as well, Kris. And nice spelling on your name. VJ1985. Hey, King Monkeys. Monkeys. Good day, VJ. VJ? If you say it really fast, it almost sounds like Vag. David Brunfeld. Good morning, Kris. Good morning. Hi, all. Hi. Dark Commission. Hi, Kris and Monkey Underlings. I like that. Underlings. I need more underlings. I realize that if I've talked about this in the past, I think I've only really talked about it in the Patreon videos about goals and reaching a certain percentage of supporters, and you know what I mean, like an average, without disclosing amounts or anything like that. But otherwise, if we reach a certain level, I'm going to look for studio space and possibly have that open to the public, for events and things, right? I don't know about events, but I mean like things. The things. And so, yeah, I was thinking that if I definitely reach that kind of point, I think I definitely have to take on an apprentice or two. I would think I'd have to. Of course, then I'd have to get myself a black cloak and sit in a chair. Let the paint flow through you. Old Man Logan, happy Saturday, Kris and monkeys, and then a bunch of little monkey emojis. Ghost Starman Deluxe. By the way, Kris, how is that new shirt design coming? I completely forgot about Ghost. It's ready to go. Remember I posted pictures of it? I just haven't. Or maybe I did get it ready. See, it's in one ear out the other kind of stuff, and yeah, I mean, you guys got to keep reminding me of this stuff, man. I mean, like, I'm also set up to like get some other stuff restocked. I just haven't done it. I've got all the materials I need and everything like that to make it happen. I haven't done it. It's just painting and getting videos ready and stuff like that, and just staying on top of things. But I mean, right now I've got a good leeway of content, so that I could probably concentrate on some other background type of stuff, which I should be staying on top of. But distractions, man. It's all a bunch of distractions. And the thing is I don't really watch a lot of TV or movies. Well, when I say TV, I mean like movies and stuff. I don't watch TV. I have like satellite, but I never watch it. It's only ever football or something else, but that's it. So I don't really watch TV. I don't watch a lot of movies, and I don't really play a lot of video games on computer or Xbox, because we have an Xbox. The Xbox X, I think it is, the latest Xbox. Anyway, yeah, I don't play a lot of that. Just distractions, just other stuff. And painting videos do take up a considerable amount of time. Especially recently when I did a patron only video on doing like a translucent effect, and I had like 10 times the amount of footage that I normally have, because I was going through the whole process. I was recording like what I was doing, and it was like a lot of footage. It took me a while to edit that one, which reminded me why I didn't really enjoy doing big long tutorials like that, because it's for the amount of work that you end up painting and doing, it doesn't really pay off in the video, because the subject matter might not appeal to a wide audience. So you could spend a great deal of time on paint job showcasing something, and then when you edit it down, and then the video is like, well, okay, great, and it's like, well, there goes a whole whack ton of time just out the window, right? So, yeah, which is why I think a lot of people who are into painting and creating videos for online, they stick with Space Marines. Why? Because Space Marines get the most views. It's just like battle reports. Everybody sticks with 40K because 40K gets the most views, right? Reese Taylor. All right, Kris, how you doing? seen the new GW releases today? I did. I perused through them really fast. I had a look. Very cool. Disturbing amount of non-Eldar. So, that's all I'll say on that matter. I do like the Necromunda. That's very fun. I'm not sure about Buddy on flying bases, though, in Necromunda. How's that going to work in Zone Mortalis? He's going to hit his head on the ceiling. Right? I mean, like, he just, and he's out. He's out cold. He's out. He's already got to take an injury test. Oh, he broke his neck. You know what I mean? Like flying around in the Underhive, you don't really imagine that too often. Like the ceilings, you don't imagine being... What the F is that? Oh, Twitchcanos. Thanks, Twitchy. Man, that freaked me right out. That was some sort of default sound. Oh, you're subscribing again. Thank you, Twitchy. Jeez Louise, that scared the crap out of me, man. That legit scared the crap. I was like, somebody's dropping a fat beat on me. Yeah, so I don't know how jetpacks work in Necromunda, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, how do you not? I mean, like way back in the day, the Spire gang, which was the elites of the Spire, they had a flying suit. Didn't seem to cause problems back then, but then there was no 2D playing surface like Necromunda has, like rules for playing like a Zone Mortalis and Sector Mechanicus, right? So there was a differentiation between the two types of terrain setups. So I don't know. Greg Gurman, howdy Kris, and Monkeys, hi. James Kent, and now Tesco is ruined forever. Rezio, to me Tesco sounds like Performance Auto Parts store. Yeah, that's what it also sounds like too. Yeah, like NAPTA. Napa. Fumble, hello everyone. Hello Kevin Cabal, hello happening hobbyist, and happy monkey day. Ghost Starman Deluxe, Tesco is a supermarket not quite as big as places like Walmart across the pond. The name comes from abbreviation of the founder's wife's name, something like Tessa Cohen, if I recall. Like Tescoa. All right. Should have just stuck with Tessa. Tessa sounds a lot more, inviting and open. And we're going to Tessa's to go get some, we got to go get some bread. So we're gonna go get some bread. We're going to Tessa's, right? Tesco. We're going to Tesco. For what? Get your oil changed? So you know what? Feel free to let them know that I recommend they change their name. Tessa. Just going with Tessa is a far better name for a grocery store or food supplier or whatever it is. It's more inviting. We're going to Tessa's. We're going to go get some bananas and bread. I need some cookies or biscuits, as they say in the UK. We're going to Tessa's, not Tesco. Tesco. I'm going to go get a muffler at Tesco. See, that doesn't sound out of place, right? So just rethink it. Yeah, that's all I'm suggesting is they rethink it. James Kent, is this studio space related to your OnlyFans plan? It could be. I could have sections, right? Way the brush section. Battle report section, painting section, OnlyFans section, right? So all depends on how big a space I get. Because I'm thinking more of a studio. Because I also would like some room to work on other projects, stuff that I don't show. So, yeah. But also, if it got to the point where I could take on an apprentice or two, I definitely would like the room for that so that I can have, space for those individuals and, yeah. That's a plan anyway. Kind of a plan. It's a loose plan. It can evolve and change. Just like all plans, it's like a battle plan, right? Battle plan, it's got to stay flexible because the nature of battle changes. It's fluid. Your plans should remain fluid. They shouldn't remain fixed. Fixed, sure. Having a goal. The goal being fixed, okay, sure, right? But how you get there should be fluid. It should be able to change as things change, as information changes. Dark Commission, I thought it was Terry Cohen. Terry Cohen? It could be any one of the two, right? But Tessa, I like Tessa. Going to a grocery store called Tessa? Yeah, I'd go to Tessa's all the time. I'd be in Tessa all the time. David Brunfeld, remember you were going to send me $1 million last week as an early birthday gift? I said it? I said it? Ghost of Starman Deluxe thought that might happen with the shirts. I'll poke you on Discord later if that helps. Yeah, please. You might be right, Dark. I forget the details. Gotta go for now. Back when I get home. Sure. Twitchy. Kris freaked out. Achievement unlocked. Yeah, that should be an achievement unlocked. It freaked me out with that music, man. I was like, I thought I was going to get murdered for a second. It's like, when you're actually going to get murdered, do you hear like murder music? Like, dun 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 dun. You're like, what the hell's going on here? Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Anyway. Dark Commission, I can't believe we just wikied Tesco to find out the name derivation. Frick, I can't even spell. T.E. Stockwell and Cohen. I am a sad person with not enough to do. It's T.E. Stockwell and Cohen? And that is Tesco? Oh, yeah. That's even worse. That's the worst one. The truth is worse than the illusion that we had a moment ago. I was all on board for Tessa Cohen. Then Terry Cohen, okay, Terry Cohen, sure, yeah. That's okay. That's believable. But no, T.E. Stockwell and Cohen. Boring. Chris Dilly, we have ASDA, which is part of the Walmart family, apparently, as well as Tesco. Associated Dairies. I'm sadder than I thought. Raziel. LOL in the US, the CO at the end would be short for company usually. Petco, Costco, and perhaps Tesco. Yeah. Twitch Kranos, Way the Brush 310. I'd be in Tessa all the time. Get me in trouble with a title like that. Jeez Louise. Get me beat up. But it's true though. I mean, if it was named Tessa, yeah, I'd be at Tessa's all the time. In Tessa. In the Tessa, you know? Racia. If I were your apprentice, Kris, I would be a Sith rule of 2, and I would be learning to overthrow you. That's usually the way it goes, right? I'm fine with that. If I took on an apprentice, I would be fine with the apprentice trying to overthrow me. That's the way it's got to go, right? Them's the rules, right? The Grand Wombat. Kris, good morning from Washington State. Well, good morning. Yeah, it is morning for you, right? It's like, 9 in the morning-ish? Or 20 after 9-ish? Or is it 3 hours or 4 hours? Either way, morning. And I'm sure it's a lovely day in Washington. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, because it's only still fall. And it's another month or so before it starts getting cloudy and rainy in your area? Something like that. David Brunfeld, awesome smile at my joke. Yeah. $1 million. What are you, high? James Sarapo. Hey there, Monkey and Monkey King. Hey there. Jabba's Left Nut. I'll send you my CV so I can be your apprentice paint fluffer. Oh, shit. Well, if we had the OnlyFans section, right, we would definitely need fluffers around, so. Yeah. Holy shit, man. Good God. Dark Commission, soon to open the K-Bell Monkey Mart. Hey. I kind of like that. Although when you say K-Bell, it sounds like cable, right? Cable monkey? Or K-Bell. That's kind of fun, though. K-Bell Monkey Mart. I don't know if I'd go to shop at a monkey mart though, unless of course they sold monkeys, or I don't know. It was like a joke store, maybe a kid's store. That's what that sounds like. Sounds like a kid's store. And if I've got an OnlyFans section, I don't think we need kids there. I'll get in trouble. They'll make me explain things. SIA Artistry. Hi, Kris. Reaper Kills 85 here. Well, welcome. I don't know if you've been able to attend live or if you've just been lurking in the backgrounds, but welcome. James Sarapo, Jabba. Why is your mouth wrapped around that dropper bottle? Evan Belleau, Kris, are you saying Raziel should get outfitted for his robot legs now? Yeah, get him all roboticed up. Now, wasn't it in the old fluffers, that as like a Jedi or as an individual, a Force wielder, right? As they lost limbs and got replaced by robotic limbs, that made them more susceptible to the dark side? Wasn't it something like that? I don't know. I don't remember. Greg Gurman, episode 310, someone needs to lick the brush. Yeah. Tucci Kranos, Way of the Brush, OnlyFans. Oops, did I sit on my paint mixer again? Yeah, exactly. Just the old tooth chipper. That's why I call it the tooth chipper. Come on. Inyabo. Looks like I turned in at the right moment. Resi, I'm afraid of heights, but fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to unlimited power. Jabba's left nut. I'll make sure Kris's tip is always moist. Jesus. Good God, sir. So today, you know what? I'm actually a little light on emails today, so might be a short show. I don't know. I was thinking that we can do a bit of a peruse through the online preview. So it was Horus Heresy here. Let's just jump over to the window real quick here. So it was Horus Heresy, right? This is from the Warhammer community page. Horus Heresy, the Lion. I like him. He apparently comes with two heads, right? He comes with a winged helmet and an unhelmeted head. I never pictured the Lion being blonde. I don't know why, but I mean, it suits, right? He's blonde, lion, light hair, right? Sure, makes sense, ish, right? Okay. His hair color really doesn't matter. I mean, people can dye their hair, but I like the model. I like he's just laying it to these Night Lords. Not that I have, any dislike for Night Lords. I like Night Lords. They're really cool. But I like the paint job on it. This looks really cool. And then all these new Night Lord duders. These look like Ruma Matanov's conversions. Like, these are pretty darn close to what he's been working on. Because I'm pretty sure his are conversions, aren't they? Ruman, are you here today? I don't know if Ruman's here today. But, I'm going to try and keep this window right there-ish. Can I do that? I can do that. Tucci Kranos, the Lion has two heads. Heresy confirmed. No. Like, he has, like, an unhelmeted head and a helmeted head, right? Yeah. Rezia, as it stands, the Star Wars canon, the Lost Limb actually reduces Force user strength with the Force. The big reason the Emperor became disappointed in Vader. Interesting. Yeah, so Night Lords, very, very cool. And of course, new book, right? Crusade. Long awaited. I think it's been like, over a year since the last one. And some Necromunda. The Orlocks get their book. Very cool. So I guess that's what they're going to do with all the gangs, right? They're going to basically give them a book and, I don't know, fill it some fluff and probably some fun stuff and, Orlock, Arms Masters and Wreckers. These are really, really fun. I like that they're kind of running with these kind of themes with these guys. The models look really, really cool. I like the sculpts. Like this guy here with his big punchy fists. It reminds me of something. I don't know what, because he's like wearing an exosuit with the punchy fists, and his face is all, you know, cyborged up, I guess. I don't know. I dig it though. I like it. It's fun. I think I have some more lugs. This one here with the jump packs. Like this dude here, he's got a flying stem. I don't know if you can see that very well on the stream. Yeah, you can see that just fine. Yeah, there's a stem running out of his behind, and yeah, I'm not sure how that's supposed to work in the underhive. You know, flying around. I like the paint job on this one here. I like that they added freckles to her face. I like that. That's fun. Dual wielding flamethrowers. I don't know if you need to dual wield flamethrowers. But yeah, they're pretty darn cool looking models though. Yeah, I don't get the flying dude though, but that's, and I like the doogies. The doogies. Cyber doogies. The head here looks a bit like from Ninja Turtles. The little things, the little chomper things. I can't remember what the hell those things are called. And then this guy here, he's getting some sort of radio signal in his brain. And his paw is not even a paw, it's a big chompy claw or something. It's a big cutty claw. Cutty claw? I don't know. English, motherfucker, do you speak it? Some 40K. I like this thing. This thing's pretty crazy looking. This destroyer with all the crazy limbs. I like the paint job on it. It's pretty cool. Do you think I should probably pick one up to complete the Necrons that I'm currently sitting on, and do it in the color scheme? Do you think I should do this in chrome and magenta? Definitely would be fun. I mean, you know, doing it in my color scheme. I mean, like, you know, you definitely could see how it would look, right? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, right? Swap out all the green for the magenta, and the body is chrome. I know, real stretch, right? Lifting the Veil, new army mission pack, very cool. Of course, they're selling the box terrain that comes in the starter sets, I believe. I think this is just the terrain, right? Yeah, this is just the terrain. And it's got some little archway thingy here, and I thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I don't know what the archway thing is, just like a thing, I guess. A thing about the things. For the things. Chapter approved. New missions and rules for terrain, I think it is, or something like that. Yeah. And some Warcry. I like this little thumbnail here. It's like, this is Sparta, this is Warcry, and he's kicking him into the pit. That's hilarious. And it's got the whole Frank Miller, you know, blood splattering and, you know, stuff like that. That's fun. I had a thought of, you know, getting into Underworlds or getting into Warcry. Warcry being obviously, like, you know, the gateway to Age of Sigmar, which I already have an Age of Sigmar army. I have Deepkin. Whereas Underworlds, you know, is more of a complete kind of game, right? But, you know, something different, and, you know, yeah. I like all these models. These are all really cool. I like that one. I like the movement in the cloak and everything. That's really cool. This guy's throwing a Hadouken. Hadouken! This guy in Assassin's Creed here. I like this model though. This model's cool. It's really cool. It looks like the one from what was that game? You know, the game. These guys are cool. Kind of fire samurai duders. This guy's cool. Burning up. I mean, some of these kits like will definitely make some interesting conversions and stuff. But yeah, me likey. This guy's gonna give somebody the chop. You're gonna get the chop, and she's gonna chop somebody. Yeah, this guy, Samurai Master here. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, it's a little something for everybody out there, right? We're getting some elves and some Slaanesh things here for Underworlds. That's kind of cool, right? I saw this and I freaked. I thought, that was really cool. This is probably the more exciting thing, and I just love the sculpt. The sculpt is really hilarious. I love, like, he's got the little poison toad belted to his hip. It's like some sort of holster. He just grabs a dart out of his little frog pouch. Like, why even bother skinning and sewing and stuff? No, just take a frog and tie him to your waist and just ram your ammo down his throat. That didn't sound right. Ram your ammo down her throat. New box set for Age of Sigmar, Daughters of Cain, and Hedonites of Slaanesh. I like the Daughters of Cain. I kind of wish there was more sculpts for Daughters of Cain. Daughters of Cain, initially when I was looking at Age of Sigmar, Daughters of Cain was a very close second to the Deepkin, and but I just wish there was more models for Daughters. This guy's cool. He's freaky, but he's cool. I mean, Slaanesh, right? It's all freaky deaky stuff. This model's cool. Just looks pissed off. But yeah, I like Daughters of Cain. Because I like the whole Medusa thing. I was a big fan of Clash of the Titans, the original one, and yeah. And then here we got some nice artwork. I like this piece. I like them. Marathi is a very cool model. I've painted her, and I just like the model. The model is like just this, what would make Medusa more scary? Oh, let's give her wings, big gigantic fuck off vampire wings, and bang, that's what you get. That's Marathi. I like the image of Marathi. She's really cool and scary because she's a big Medusa thing with wings. You know what I mean? Like basically, how can you escape her gaze if you can't get away from her, right? Because she can slither around really freaking fast, or she can fly around. So either way, you're in trouble because she's gonna get you. She's gonna get you. Oh, and that was it, right? Yeah, that was it. That was it. So that was a condensed version of the GW preview. that was the condensed version, right? But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff there. Like I said, I didn't watch it live. I missed it. Just I was into other stuff, and yeah, the chameleon skink. This is apparently the mime for chameleon skink. This is something else entirely, but chameleon skink. He's got his little. I was gonna say blow tool, but yeah. Oh, I'm gonna end up saying something I'll regret, I'm sure. Man. Oh, where the hell am I? James Seripipio? The doggo looks like the old Inquisitor doggo. Yeah, it looks exactly. That's what it looks like. Except the old Inquisitor one was more like cyber. Like he was like armored up kind of thing, right? Because it was a law enforcement dog. Whereas this one looks like my doggo got his paw crushed. Okay, we'll give him a big slash claw kind of thing, right? So, yeah. But yeah, the head of the one looks like, Reziel, Mausers, yeah, the Mausers. VG in 1985. Yeah, the Mauser's robot from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's that head, that first head. That's what it looks like. Chris Dilly, love the Necromunda models. Always get strong vibes of the movie. The Warriors, a bit more futuristic. Oh, definitely. 100%. Especially with Orlok. Definitely. Even the models from way back in the day. I'm sure the inspiration. Even Goliaths and, the Eschers. And, yeah, it's... Necromunda is... 40K, the Warriors, the game, right? That's essentially what it is. It's all about gangs fighting each other. And back in the day, Necromunda was more or less just kind of gangs like, they're in our turf, let's go get them, let's just, shoot them up, and, And now it seems like there's more interplay, and it just, a little bit more depth to why the gangs are kind of fighting. And me personally, I love the corpse grinders. You know, I just think it's just completely disturbing, these guys, and just it's just really, really dark, you know, but not chaos for chaos sake kind of thing, right? It's, you know, there is kind of a plan with them, right? They see themselves kind of freedom fighters almost, right? It's the best villains never see themselves as villains, right? In any story. I was actually rewatching. Here we go. We're going off on a rant right now. What time we got? Rant? Yeah, we got rant. We got time for a rant. I was recently watching. I've been watching Lord of the Rings, and watching the first one. Just finished Two Towers last night, actually, and at some point we'll probably watch Return of the King. And I'm not really. I own The Hobbit, but I don't know. The Hobbit just isn't as strong a film as the Lord of the Rings are. The Rings are just so rewatchable, whereas The Hobbit, you know, it was too much. There was too much padding in it. And so anyway, Lord of the Rings, fantastic films, deserve everything that every accolade that they get. It deserves, in my opinion. And I'm realizing something. Especially watching, because I'm also watching on Netflix Narcos, the Pablo Escobar story. Well, it's not really. Well, anyway, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a pretty good show. It's interesting. Been watching that, and I've been thinking about the nature of how stories are being told these days, and 40K is in the one category as far as how stories are told these days versus how they were told 30, 40 years ago, 100 years ago, right? And it deals with two very simple concepts. The battle for good and evil, and the bad guys being bad guys for the sake of being bad guys, right? So, for example, Lord of the Rings. Well, everybody in Mordor, it's full of orcs. The Easterlings, which is kind of racist. I mean, Lord of the Rings, when you watch it through a particular lens, it's pretty goddamn racist. But in its use of words as well as its imagery. But that's a different topic. Mordor, they're evil for evil's sake. Sauron is evil for evil's sake. We don't really know what the motive is for Sauron other than take over the world. That's kind of weak. I want to take over the world, right? So, the motivations for the bad guys. Because in the past, knowing the motivations of the bad guys wasn't necessary in telling a compelling story to the masses, as it were, right? You only had to tell it from the good guy's perspective, and the story was often one-sided. The good guys. So you never had to display any kind of empathy to the other side of the story. The bad guys, they were bad for the sake of bad. They're evil. They're evil. It's good versus evil. And it's completely fantasy. And there's all sorts of stuff in writing and stuff like that where, you know, you have this kind of storytelling device, and you see it in Star Wars, you see it in sci-fi, you see it in fantasy. Lord of the Rings is a really, you know, great example of this, you know, the good and evil, and how, you know, there is like no empathy towards the other side, which should be a trait of the good people, right? Displaying empathy. You know, do you guys kind of see where I'm getting with this? That kind of storytelling is a thing of the past, which is why you're seeing more stories now showing the opposite side, the bad guy side and the good side. Just like, okay, for example, like Star Wars. When it first came out, Star Wars was, Darth Vader was bad for the sake of being bad, because we jumped into the middle of this story, apparently, and, you know, we are, we're immediately on the side of the rebels. Now, immediately Star Wars plays to a very big North American audience, because why? Because the rebels all sound like Americans and the Empire sounds like British or European. British. They all sound like British. Why? Because the War of Independence and everybody from old empires are bad, right? Because Star Wars is an American story. The rebels were Americans, right? So it's easy for Americans to jump on board because, it's kind of the patriotic thing to do, right? So that's why. But the bad guys were bad guys for the sake of being bad guys. And it wasn't until prequels roll around that we see that Darth Vader, who is the embodiment of the bad guys, right? He's flawed. And it's a tragic character. And so what ends up happening is you develop empathy for him through a new lens. Right? You develop empathy for that character through a new lens. And I'm watching, oh, you fuck off. And so I'm watching like Narcos, and Narcos is kind of the same thing. You're getting the side, a side of the story being told from Escobar's side, as well as the side that's trying to catch him and kill him, right? And you see that the motivations for both sides, and both sides are doing things that you go, I can get on board with that, and both sides are doing things that you're like, you freaking morons, you should not be doing that. That's bad, right? And both sides are guilty of it. And so then you have to call into question in storytelling the nature of the good versus bad storytelling, because when you fall into that simplified kind of thinking, it obscures you as the viewer empathy. Because why? Because especially we see it a lot on this side, at least in North America, we see it a lot. Oh, those people over there, they're bad, right? They're a bunch of terrorists. You know what I mean? Like, and that's completely false. That's completely false. Oh no, those people, those are bad. Those are bad people. There's no such thing as bad people. There's bad choices made by individuals. And evil is a concept that's made up by people. Good and evil does not exist other than in the human heart. That's the only place that good and evil reside. Nothing in nature. Good and evil does not exist in nature. Nature is not good or evil. Right? Same with like Star Wars. Oh, that side, like when they're in Dagobah and Yoda's like, oh no, that's the dark side over there. That area is the dark side. Yeah, that doesn't happen in the real world. That's just a storytelling device in a fictional universe, right? But I know that like in Europe, when they're telling stories of like vampires and werewolves and don't go into the woods, you'll get murdered and stuff like that, and putting the fear into people to get out of the woods, that was so that they cram the cities and can be, the population can be properly controlled, right? That's basically why you have it, and why there was such a fear. And even today, to this day, some people are scared to go into a forest. Why? Why are you scared to go, especially at night? Why are you scared to go into a forest at night? There's nothing's going to hurt you. You might step on a skunk, sure, and get sprayed, but that's the least of your worries, really. Cleaning off a smell. Okay, big whoop. Might just a big smell, but but anyway, that's what I've been noticing, and I'm noticing a lot of stories now are telling the story from both sides, so that that the side that is supposed to be the bad guys, what their motivations are. And in fact, oftentimes the bad guys, you can empathize with them. Like Infinity War, right? Thanos is a great villain. Because he lays out his plan quite logically, and you're kind of like, well, yeah, he does raise some interesting points, right? If you find yourself going, he does raise some interesting points, you might support Thanos. You might not have chopped his head off. All I'm saying. So That's all I'm saying, is that these good versus evil stories, I think, are a storytelling device of the past. I think we're, as human civilization is concerned, I think we are moving past this the storytelling device of good versus evil, of telling the story of the good side only, and having no empathy for the bad side, because being bad for bad's sake is just it's weak. It's not compelling. Because why? Because our world as we understand it is so gray, right? It's so gray. And what is truly good and bad? It's just the day-to-day choices that people make and the cumulative effect. The choice you make today, to help or not help, to feed or not feed, to smile or not smile. I mean, like, who can say? Who can say? Where am I? James, Sir Appio. Okay, Sir Appio. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for spelling it out phonetically for me. Because I'm a dummy. Raziel, I just wished so much that they had real Arbites in Necromunda. Please, GW. Like the Arbites? Yeah, that'd be cool. I actually haven't even gotten to my enforcers yet. Because I bought some stuff to do a conversion for them, and I haven't even started on them yet. I haven't even touched any necromancer. So I'm still sitting on my character for my corpse grinders that I want to do, and I want to do a nice paint job on them. I don't know if I'll do them in the same color scheme as like the rest of my corpse grinders. I don't know. It's tempting, just because all the blood splatter and everything like that will show up nicely, but I don't know. We'll see. James Kent, one of my favorite films for telling the evil motives is King of New York. Yes. Oh yeah, definitely, right? And that's where we start getting into these more modern stories, right? And some of these stories, obviously sometimes they're not received well. Because for some people, having empathy for your enemy or the bad person, they might feel like it's a betrayal, which it's not. Having empathy is a human quality. I mean, and personally, having empathy is a quality of good people. Why? Because Nazis ain't got no humanity. And I want my 100 scalps. Kaoma is not the Palatine dudes Arbites cop guardsmen. Yeah. Well, they're Palatine enforcers. They're not the Imperial Arbites. The Arbites are supposed to be like the branch that's supposed to be like all over the Imperium, right? That's the official branding of police on a planet, right? Is the Adeptus Arbites. Raziel, Kris, this is a huge topic on storytelling, too deep for me to contribute in this format, but I will say you should check out Matt Wagner's Grendel, amazing indie comics that began in the 80s. Sure, I don't really do comics, so I can't remember the last time I was actually in a comic book store. It hasn't been that long, a couple years anyway, but I was looking for other stuff. Ebb and Flow, Grendel is great. Okay, well, you convinced me. Ebb and Flow. If Ebb is into it, then I'm gonna get into it then. James Sir Appio. Magneto was right. Thanos was right. Magneto was right. Magnus did nothing wrong. What else? What are some other ones? The bad guys were right, but that's what makes, and like in the latest iterations of Magneto, Magneto he's right. I mean, again, it's the modern storytelling that we get both sides. Unless of course we're dealing with just one character, and it's oftentimes one character's journey. But when we're talking about, where they're going to deal with the whole good versus bad aspect of a story, yeah, they often will nowadays tell it from, the other side of the story as well. But I mean, like, could you, like, what would Lord of the Rings look like if we had Sauron's side of the story? Why did Sauron want to conquer the world? Or Middle Earth anyway. What was the motivations? Why would anybody like the Easterlings join Sauron instead of joining the rest of the humans to fight Sauron and the orcs, right? I mean, it's two multinational coalitions fighting, essentially, because you have humans and orcs, and you have elves and humans and dwarves, right? It's these multinational coalitions fighting each other. So, if it's something that people from both sides of different walks of life, different races apparently, if they can get on board behind an ideology, then what is the underlying problem between the two ideologies, right? Because it can't be just evil for evil's sake. We want to kill everybody. You know what I mean? That's weak. That's weak, right? Like, what if Sauron, he sees the future, and he knows that, there's an ecological disaster coming, and under his rule of blackening the sun will avert this disaster to Middle Earth, or the entire Earth, right? What if that was the motivation? That, in fact, Sauron is, in fact, an environmentalist, and he's vegan. Yeah, I just had to throw a jab at all the vegans out there. And if you're vegan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're vegan. Oh, shit. I'm going to have a whole bunch of people hating on me now. Good. Go Starman Deluxe. Real big brain monkeys know that everyone is evil. Everyone is evil and no one is evil. At the same time, humans are, at all times and at no time, contradictions. James O'Kent, the big corporations will be the big villains for the foreseeable future. Individuals who rebel and break the law will be the heroes. Oh, definitely. Sure. But that's a story device for years and years and years and years and years. And especially in North American culture, where, especially in America, I mean, America is, from a story standpoint, it is, the little guy fighting the big guy, right? It was a bunch of little colonials standing against an evil empire, right? That's the way it gets framed, So, fighting for their freedom to live and pursue life seems pretty noble to me, right? Mind you, though, I'm ground zero as far as that's concerned. So, Anyway, Dougie, Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars, but the less said about them, the better. Yeah, Kylo Ren, sure, right? Because, there is a bit of empathy, but you only get 3 movies to kind of know Kylo. Although, you know what I mean, like one movie to really kind of get to know him, and then the other movies kind of build upon, where his rise and fall kind of thing, or his fall and rise, I guess, is really what it is. So, yeah. James O'Kent, didn't Sauron just want his stolen jewelry back? Right, just start a world war. My ring is missing. I gotta get my ring back. Yeah. Start a world war on a ring? Man, they've been started for dumber things, I suppose. The Grand Wombat, we have that information, oh wise one. We have that information, oh wise one. We have what information? Why Sauron started the war? Why did Sauron start the war then? Is that why? What? Edward Horseman, we actually do know why Sauron wanted to conquer the world. Okay, well, don't keep me in the fucking dark. What is it? The Grand Wombat. Word. Go Starman. Sauron just wanted to start a worldwide jewelry shop and wouldn't let anyone get in his way. Raziel, some of that Sauron backstory is covered in... Oh, okay. What is it? The Silmarillion? Silmarillion? I never read that. I've talked about this in the past before. Like, reading Tolkien... Oh, man, it's an exercise. Oh, it's a bit like Shakespeare. And, I mean, you got to be in the right headspace to read Shakespeare. The Great Wombat. Yep. Quit typing faster than me. Gah, my brain. What? Edward Horseman. Baha, I can get behind that. Sauron's a vegan and wants to change the world. Right? I mean, like... SIA Artistry. LMAO. James Shapiro at Rezio. Chris Dilley. I like the film tries more now to present the story from the bad guys' perspectives. It's far more stimulating for me to ponder on why I sympathize to a point with the villains. Yes, to a point. I mean, having empathy, doesn't mean that, when you see the bad characters, you're looking at Escobar, and you're going, oh, poor Escobar, oh, they're picking on him, and, oh. No, I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about you can empathize because you can see the motivations of that person and the choices that they're making, and you can go, oh, okay, well, I can see why he's making those choices. Do I agree with him? Not 100%, but I can see why he's making those choices, right? That's empathy, is you can understand the other side of a story, of an argument, of another way of thinking other than your own. Right? That's empathy. Not oh, the poor guy. Oh, he's, it's so terrible what they're doing to him. Oh, that's not empathy. That's sympathy. Empathy is just you understand and you can see the motivations and you know what I mean? You can see why what people do and how other people kind of think, and you know what I mean? And so when you have that kind of capacity, then you go, oh, okay, well, I guess when this occurs, that's why they get pissed off. So maybe I should stop doing that, right? That's empathy. Okay, if I do this and that pisses them off, starts a big fight, okay, I get it, right? And it's really basic human interaction, right? If any of you who are in any kind of relationship with other people, and you're living together or something like that, right? I mean, it's like, oh, and I do this, it pisses them off, and you know what, maybe I should stop doing it. Or keep doing it. I don't know, one of the two. But it all depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live, where, maybe you want to live dangerously and have the other person in your house mad at you all the time. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know what your motivations are. That you'd have somebody constantly pissed off at you in your house. When I'm at home, I want to relax, and I don't want people angry, and I don't want angry vibrations all around me all the time, because that just makes kind of a stressful home life. So, no, I don't like that kind of thing. Oh, man. Fire Trick 18. Sup, people? Sup. Edward Horseman. I've never actually read any of the Tolkien stuff. Just read the wikis. Much more interesting and easier to read. Yeah, it's because the wikis is kind of like, reading the Cliff Notes, right? But no, I've read almost the entire way through, all the way through to Return of the King. Fuck, I couldn't remember the last story, but that's it. Oh, and The Hobbit. But yeah, and those took me forever. It's like, oh, why can't you just talk like a normal person? James Kent, if Sauron had been a vegan, he would have certainly told us he was a vegan. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Frantic. Hello, Chris. Hello, chat. Hello, Frantic. Ghost Starman, look, Sauron wanted to marry a tree, but then Saruman cut the tree down to get his Uruk-hai forge. Okay. He wanted to marry a tree. There's a joke there, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a joke. I'm sure. And you know what? I'm sure in some circles that joke is killing. It's killing. It's slaying people right now. People are on their backs, laughing. Literally, their ass cheeks right off. Their ass cheeks have fallen kaplunk right off. Like two halves of a melon just fell off and they're just kind of rolling back and forth on the floor now. When you imagine an ass falling off, do you imagine two whole hams coming off, or do you imagine it as one complete ham, kind of like jelly bean shaped kind of thing, right? Do you imagine that? And if it does hit the ground, do you imagine it landing on the curved side and kind of like, you know, rocking back and forth, or do you imagine it landing on the flat side all the time, kind of cheeks up? How do you imagine an ass? Oh, jeez. Damn. Dirty Toxin 13. Thank you for following, Dirty Toxin. It's in Russian. I'm afraid I don't speak Russian, buddy. Sorry. But thanks for the follow. Alright. Fire Drink 18, like Black Panther? Sure. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, Streamlabs also told me that Kenneth Smith subscribed. Thank you, Kenneth. Reziel, Sauron is actually the same race as Gandalf and Saruman. I forget the name. Yeah, like Elemental or yeah, some made up bullshit word. But in the previous age, he was seduced by the dark side, so to speak, and overthrow his master. Right, but why? Why? That's how you get to learn the motivations of somebody, is learning the why. Not the how, not the what, not the where, but the why, right? Why? Like when if you've Rezio, I think you have kids, right? And like I'm sure by now they're talking, and you know they hit an age where everything is why. I think collectively as a human species, we may be heading to that path right now, where we're all just kind of going why, or maybe we're still in that age of why, you know. Anyway. I don't know where I was going with any of that, but yeah. SIA Artistry, Curbside Land and Bounce. Oh, I don't know. I must have missed a conversation back there or something. James and Kent, episode 310. When you imagine an ass falling off, well, yeah. I mean, like if you get two halves, like is it two hams that fall, or is it one complete, you know, rump roast? Do you imagine two hams or a rump roast? Like when you're laughing your ass off, is that what happens? Is it? Oh man. Fire Drink 18. How do we get from ass cheeks every episode? How do we get to ass cheeks every episode? Oh man, it's easy. It's easy. I can just look at the host of the show. Immediately you think ass. This guy's an ass. Look at this guy. He's a freaking ass. The Grand Wombat. I imagine a gentle rain of hams hitting the floor like a warm summer rain. Little paps of ass ham hitting the ground. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, just a gentle pitter-pat of hams. Ass hams. Oh shit. Oh man. Go start right the list. Pretty sure that was Greek, not Russian. Oh, that is it? I don't know. I mean, when you start throwing in like letters like pi and like, you know, what's the name for like a like a musical note? Like when you start throwing those characters into the text, yeah, I'm lost. Is that Greek? I thought that's Russian. No, that's Greek. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be rude. Let me throw it into. Oh, you're saying it's definitely Russian. Okay. Oh, it's definitely Russian now. All right. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to Google Translate because this guy might have just told me. This guy might have just told me off. Nice. Yeah, somebody just joined the Discord with an offensive name. Nice. That's nice. Very nice. Telling me to stop doing it. Stop doing what? I don't know. Apparently that's what it was in Russian. Was stop doing it. You follow me to stop telling me to stop doing it? Wow. That's quite the thing here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Banned. And they're gone. Yeah, nice. Oh no. Thankfully, the text is so small I can't see it. I don't know. Anyway, got to do all these admin stuff. Where's my admins? Twitchy, come on, you're supposed to be on this, buddy. I'm giving Twitchy shit now. Oh shit. SIA artistry. To your ham question. Oh, to the ham question. Oh, curbside land and bounce. Okay, I get it now. I got you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. With a slight bouncing. I got you. Kind of like, you know, when you see in the commercial, like when Jello hits the floor, that's kind of thing. Just kind of, you know. Oh man, yeah, no, I just banned them, because it's wickedly offensive. So, yeah. Anyway, man, I don't know where the hell I am. Ghost Star Mandalix. One day we will graduate from Y, and the important part of storytelling will be Z. Yeah. Yeah. And Yabu, oh, that definitely was Russian, unless someone's fonts are way off. Yeah. No. But yeah, I'm not sure what Dirty Toxin was meaning there. Unless, of course, maybe Dirty Toxin was the individual who joined us on Discord. I don't know. Because, yeah. That wasn't very pleasant. That wasn't very pleasant. Yeah, because I banned them, and they're gone. They're gone. And it's been a while since I've had to ban anybody. So, you know, knock on wood. It's been pretty good. Demon Monkey Bot. Bim LOL, nope. Bim LOL, nope. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Anyway. Rezio, I want to talk about the hobby. Hey Kris, do you have any recommendations on content for me to check out to level up my green stuff sculpting? Well, I recently just did a Patreon video of a tip on working with green stuff. It wasn't really anything specific other than just, you know, how I mix it and working with it on a surface. I don't know if you watched that video, but that was like, I think a patron only video once or two ago. It's fairly recent I did that. I think I did it in a 4K video as well, as a 4K video. I don't recall. But either way, I did a video. It wasn't on anything in particular, but it was more or less just working with green stuff. And one of the things that I like to do with green stuff to get really smooth, consistent results. And in this hobby, we always want consistency, right? So, yeah. But as far as sculpting videos are concerned, I've only done a few. I'm not much of a sculptor, so I'm not going to claim that I have all the answers in that regard. Anybody that I'm really kind of paying attention to as far as sculpting is concerned, there really isn't. I'm sure there's tons of people out there doing really great work, you know, with sculpting and, you know, with various materials. Choose your material, really. Because, I mean, like, there's strengths and pluses and minuses for whatever sculpting material you're using. Everything from Abe's to two-part epoxy to milliput, you know, to even, you know, sculpting clay, right? I mean, or even DAS modeling clay, right? So, I think realistically, look for whatever it is in specifically as far as what you want to accomplish with whatever you're working on. If your goal is to just start sculpting, then you might want to look towards more of a sculpture class than miniature sculpting, because the skills are transferable. They will scale up and down, so to speak. And I assume we're talking about real sculpting and not 3D sculpting. I assume. Where the hell am I? Fire Drink 18. I'm going to take a shower, and so speak up. I'll start talking. I'll start screaming into my mic so you can hear everything. James, if the name is Stop Doing It, I'm always assuming it's something I was told would make me go blind. Yeah, I'd assume stop doing it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because the person hasn't said anything else, so I'm going to assume, because that person showed up on Discord or Twitch, and then it showed up, and then that offensive person showed up on Discord. I'm going to assume the two are connected. I'm not sure why anybody would want to do that. Like, what motivates a person to do that kind of thing? We're talking about empathy. Like, what motivates a person to do that? Like, usually when I see that kind of offensive type of thing, it's usually somebody very juvenile. They tend to be very juvenile, in actual age, right? It's kind of like like when a little kid, you teach them a swear word, or they inadvertently pick up a swear word, and you're, oh, no. And then and they just keep repeating it because they're getting a reaction, right? And to me, that's what it seems like. So when kids are doing that on the internet and they're just dropping N-bombs and using all sorts of offensive terms and languages, and and using memes that are degrading, and all these things, I assume they're doing it to get a reaction. And I'd kind of like to know why they feel that necessary. Why do they feel that necessary? Because oftentimes the kind of people that do that, they tend to be very introverted in the real world. They tend not to have very big social circles, and they tend to be the kind of person that they go, oh, well, that person really doesn't really talk much. They seem like a nice enough person, but so and so, right? And it's that kind of thing. And then they're finding dead cats, and they found a body in the freezer, kind of thing, right? So that's usually where it ends up going. at least as far as I've seen. And I don't keep a very close ear to the ground on that kind of stuff, but I do pay attention to it. And I assume it's a very juvenile person who does that kind of thing, goes around and uses that offensive kind of language like that on internet platforms, social media, and even in Call of Duty. You hear it all the time in Call of Duty. N-bombs all day long. And, it's kids. Oftentimes it's kids. Or very, very disconnected people who are a bit more mature. And are often very, very filled with, hatred. And to use that kind of language, right? Because they tend to be very racist and things like that. And most of the time I feel bad for those kind of people to have that much negativity in your heart, because it just must eat away at you every day. Must just eat away, and that's a terrible way to live. Terrible. And I feel bad for those kind of people who have that much hatred in their hearts that it's got to be eating them like a cancer. They're giving themselves cancer, in their soul, and possibly even within their bodies. Who knows? If holistic methods or medicines are to be believed. But anyway, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. Again, when you develop a bit of empathy, and you start to try and apply that to somebody who even is being offensive to you and saying those horrible things to you, and you go, well, why is that person being that way? What is wrong with that person? What sort of pain are they in? Are they in pain? And you start to wonder, like, well then, okay, well, what can we do? Can we help that person? That person's in a lot of pain. There's a lot of hatred there. There's a cancer in that person. We have to treat them. We have to help them. It's pretty simple, right? Just a bit of empathy. It's all it takes. It's all it takes. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's why this whole pandemic has flattened the earth. Shut us all up. If you're one for believing in karma. Oh man. James O'Kent. More green stuff tutorials seem to be more like adverts for selling products, sadly. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, there is that aspect of it, especially with a company like Green Stuff World, right, where they're playing off that brand recognition, But I mean, everybody wants to make a buck, right? So, whatever. Raziel, have been sculpting on my minis in small ways for a while. I'll send you a quick email. Maybe you'll have time to give pointers on my latest model. Sure, yeah. I mean, I'll offer whatever help I can, whatever knowledge I possess about sculpting and adding details and things of that nature. Whatever I know, I'll offer. And if there's somebody who I know who's doing it far better than me, I'll definitely point you in that direction as well. So, yeah. Because, I mean, you have a particular goal that you want to accomplish, and I definitely want to try and help you, see that through. Evan Belleau, I have never had good results with Milliput. I've only ever tried the white, but I can never get it to do anything presentable. I've not had a whole lot of modeling experience. Frustrating. Well, I mean, you just got to sit down and keep playing with it. Just like with the painting, you just got to sit down and keep doing it. And my green stuff, I can say today, I'm not that proficient. I'm proficient enough, I suppose. But I'm not, I'm not going to be sitting there sculpting a new face on my model. Although I never tried. So, I don't know. I've never done it. I've never tried it. I've never had the inkling to do it. And so that's why you don't really see a lot of conversions out of me, because I often, just the way I work is just, it's mostly painting I do. I mean, I do lots of other stuff. I don't do a lot of terrain either, but I used to do a lot of terrain. I mean, hell, I got oh no, where is it? Oh, did I left it in the other room. Remember my old house from the old White Dwarf back in the day? I did that, Anyway, that was one of my first adventures into doing, because I was going to build, I had the plan of doing a whole, little town set. And unfortunately, I only ever finished one building. But anyway. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Small children be like, get Xbox to use $300 Fortnite machine and yell N-word at random strangers. Yeah, But the thing is, though, is racism, like a lot of things in this world, racism is learned. It is not an inborn in our DNA. It's not in our DNA for racism. It's not. It's learned. The language we use forms the thoughts. The language we use forms the thoughts, and the thoughts we use form the language. These are all learned. Goes to Starman Deluxe. Small children be like... Oh, I already read that. Okay, never mind. In Yabu, back in the day, you could play video games with or against other people if they were right next to you. Shakes game, yeah. Oh, LAN parties. You're talking about LAN parties, yeah. Do they still do LAN parties? I don't even know. Some of you are like, what the hell's a LAN party? But yeah. LAN party? How old are you? Razio, there have been an increasing number of trolls and such online. Just find and join groups to see how far they can get and cause trouble. Could have been that, but then again, maybe not. Well, again, I mean, causing trouble, not a huge issue. I mean, immediately that just gets taken down. I mean, what's the point? It's going to be up there for a few seconds. We're sticking it to whoever. We're sticking it to the man. Again, I don't understand it. I would like to know why. What compels a person to do that kind of thing? And like I said, it often is the act of a child. It's childish. It's a childish thing to do. I've already explained all this, so yeah. Coma. The person must have spent a fair bit of time to write out 5,000 offensive words. So happy you took that down straight away. Yeah, I mean, well, it's just copy and paste. I mean, type it once and just hit copy and paste 500 times, right? Then you make a paragraph and then copy and paste the paragraph and then copy and then hit Control V. Control V, man, just Control V. Control C, Control V. Trolling 101. Oh man. Where the hell am I? Inquisitor, or exposure to real world and a butt whooping for your actions. Well, that's the old way, right? You talk a certain way, you got your ass kicked. I've had people say racist things to me right to my face, and they got a whooping. They got a whooping. Put a guy's teeth through his face once. Not that I'm proud of it, but it was just one punch, and his teeth went through his face, come through his lips, and his head went into a brick wall. So, I mean, if anybody wants to come at me in the real world, I mean, sure, come at me. I'm not scared because I know I'm dealing with children and I'm dealing with hurt individuals. Pain. James of Kent, I just practice green stuff and it just goes wrong. It just becomes fur. Yeah. I was gonna say, James of Kent, you're a patron, aren't you? Did you watch the video I put up on using green stuff? That kind of thing should help. That was a very broad thing that can be applied to many aspects. So, yeah. If you didn't watch it, then if the patrons aren't watching my videos that are only patron only, I mean, then what the hell, guys? What are you doing? Come on, people. I'm giving you this information here. You're paying for information, man. Where the hell am I? What time are we at? Holy crollies, it's almost 1:30. Coma, but I use standard Milliput, the gray and yellow one. Yeah, I've used Milliput before. I like it. It cleans up very well. Sands really nicely. Better than green stuff, I find. Sanding, I mean, if you mix more hardener into the green stuff, it sands a little bit better, but yeah, no, Milliput sands better. And I've used Aves Sculpt, and initially that's very, very sticky and like it's just all over the place, but once it cures, it cleans up very, very well. But yeah, it's annoying to deal with, like, initially. Dark Commission. Well, I just sold the last of 7 cents I had on eBay this week. Now, in true Lord of the Rings fashion, I can get the one machine that replaces them all. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Raziel, never tell him the time. We have to make the show last forever. No, please, God, no. No, I got plans, because I gotta go meet some people. I gotta go photo shoot for GQ in about half an hour. It's a Beetlejuice reference for anybody. I don't know. Good thing, do. Got a photo shoot for GQ in about half an hour. Anyway, James again. I did watch the video. Not using Vaseline anymore. That wasn't as rude as it sounds. Yeah, I'm off Vaseline, man. I'm not using Vaseline. Yeah, that was really the big point of the video, was that because I've used Vaseline in the past, and I mean, it cleans up okay, but it just wasn't. It's not the same. Whereas using something more like a paraffin wax type of product, I find works better, right? So yeah, very, very cool. All right, let's do some emails, because we can, and we shall, and we should, and yeah. Sorry, I'm just making sure everything's where everything should be. That doesn't make a lot of sense, I realize, but Anyway, if you're wearing headphones, just by chance, I don't know. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. Email time. Email time. Oh, it's done. I always got to watch the little bar. Anyway, this is from our good buddy Scott Radum. It's a Tau dude. I painted this mini. First Tau ever. First Tau ever. It was part of a random color challenge. The app I used came up with something I decided was close enough to Vallejo pale gray blue. It was fun painting it up. I wouldn't normally try for that color on a mini as the main body. It did give me a little confidence that I might try it on some other stuff in the future. Hit me with them crits. Hit me with them crits. What app are you talking about, Scott? For creating, for creating color scheme. That sounds interesting. You have to message me, Scott. What app are you talking about? Or if anybody knows what app Scott's talking about, then let me know. As far as creating color schemes, because this color scheme. See, like for example, like going with this light blue gray. I mean, I would have thought this was just simply Space Wolf grays, worked up to I can't even think of the gray. What the hell's the Uthran gray? God dang it. Could not think of the name. And the deep red up to an orange highlight. Little browns here and there. I like it. It has a little bit of the usual Scott brushwork, but I don't see the highlighting you've been doing, the directional highlighting. And I've I don't like. I mean, I've been equating it to your own way of painting, but I assume it's something you've learned from somebody else, and I'm not sure who that is from. But I dig that style of kind of like, instead of the highlights building up to a point, they build out to a side, left or right, and I get a kick out of that. That looks cool. Yeah, see, these kind of look like they're highlighted in a conventional way, light building up to the high points, rather than a directional thing. The only thing I would recommend is just reinforcing those edges. With Tau having like a lot of brushstroke, it doesn't hurt the model at all, but when you get to corners and such, you definitely want to spend a bit of time cleaning up edges on panel lines and things of that nature. Mind you though, this is a really small dude, and the camera makes it feel like it's much bigger, and so we see the brushstroke and the small tiny nuances and things of that nature. Whereas if we were to look at this in person, it probably looks really fantastic. I'm sure it looks fantastic in person. I dig it. The color scheme. I mean, I think I've seen Tau in this scheme where a gray with red. I feel like that's a thing. Yeah, that pale blue, gray blue. Yeah, that's Uthran gray. I'm sure that's pretty close to Uthran gray, as far as as it's concerned. But again, I mean, colors are colors. I mean, if anybody wants to really be impressive, okay, here's a challenge. Okay, anybody who really wants to impress anybody with their painting abilities, okay, work from a set of primaries, the primary colors, the secondaries, and possibly even the tertiaries, black and white, and silver and gold. And that's it. Paint a model and paint a codex color scheme. Pick something from the established color scheme and color match it to that using only your primaries. Then you can wear the mantle. The mantle. I don't know what mantle we're talking about, but anyway. Yeah. Do that. Because otherwise, I mean, like, you know, I mean, I'm not, I mean, I don't get really worked up about paint lines, like different paint brands and stuff. It's all paint to me, especially water-based acrylics. I mean, it's all water-based acrylics. You know, they're all the same. The bodies of them tends to differ, sure, right? From Citadel to, you know, I'm trying to think of a really watery paint line. Well, like Golden High Flow. Golden High Flow is a watery paint. I just picked up some new Goldens, actually. I picked up some transparency. I'm going to give them a try. Play with them a little bit. You never know. They might work into my regular paint flow. I've been thinking about painting just an entire model in just Golden High Flow and just working from primaries and color matching. Because that's what I've been thinking of. I was already thinking of doing that kind of thing. Just working from primaries, but paint a Codex color scheme. Which means that you have to color match from the primary up to that color. Do that. Dark Commission episode 310. Did someone mention lube? I think that we've had that in our title before, haven't we? Mentioning lube. Oh, we've talked about the 4-finger dip. Watch out for the 4-finger dip in Vaseline. And if you go to a friend's house and do you happen to have some Vaseline or something, you know? And then you look in the jar and you see a 4-finger dip. Yeah. Coma. The milliput can shrink a tiny bit when applied thick, but I never use it thick. I use resin for molds. Sheldon Sewell, hey bro in-law, your sis Nat saying hi. Hi. After it's always funny because whenever I read these kind of things and then I see that family or somebody or even my nephews or somebody are jumping in, it's like, I'm not talking about anything. Evan Belleau, I gave up trying with milliput after trying to do some Yamaru spelling. Press mold pieces. After a couple attempts, I couldn't get anywhere close to what I needed. I've had nothing but success with that silicone mold. Where the hell is it? Yeah, this Almaru. Yeah, you just okay. So really quick, how I work with this stuff. Now yours might be a different color, but essentially this is the same crap. It's just a reusable silicone. And oftentimes what I do is I'll have a little container prepared, like a cup or whatever, kind of a bigger container, like a coffee mug, whatever, and or a bowl. Bowl's just as good. I'll boil a water, or I'll turn the kettle, wait till it boils, pour that into the bowl, and then gently plop this in. Let it warm up. Give it a few moments. Usually, if I'm moving it, say with like a fork or something along those lines, just so that I can, something I can pull it out of the water with. Once it starts to feel pretty squishy, it feels almost like a jellyfish, almost kind of thing. Then I know it's ready. And then really fast, press it onto whatever surface that I want to copy. You can even do 2-part molds with this because you can cut a seam and then just fold it over. And then have your part in there, and then of course you come back in with a blade and you just blade it apart and then just pry your part open again, or you can have it in 2 halves, right? And now you just got to be mindful that silicone sticks to silicone really easily, but this doesn't stick to anything else. Silicone only sticks to silicone. But yeah, boiling water, give it like a few minutes. I'm talking anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes in boiling water, and then you just press it on. And this I've never had, and I've used urethane resin in these. Urethane resins often have exothermic reactions where they get really, really warm. A lot of 2-part resins do that. and I've used like about as big as this piece. It was a skull, about yay big, right? It was fairly big, like it took up most of the mold, and yeah, it retained shape in this, because I was concerned that with the heat this would soften again, but as long as there's no force from the heat, it doesn't soften too much. Now I'd imagine though that yes, if you applied something that does produce heat, it will soften your mold and you'll have to do another copy of your master again. But yeah, no, I've used this stuff many times and it's great. I haven't really felt it necessary to copy anything yet in a long while. Maybe I don't know, maybe I should do a video on it, playing with it. Maybe for the OnlyFans. Anyway. Keoma. The blue stuff bars are Oyamaru is some crappy stuff making part or... Wait, what? The blue stuff bars or Oyamaru is some crappy stuff for making parts or bits. It don't hold detail that good. I use liquid silicone rubber to make the molds. Yeah, that's what that is. That's all that is. Silicone. You just reheat it. And yeah, I've used that stuff. And yeah, I've used 2-part resin in it. Urethane resin that heats up. I've used that in that and did molds, and it retained all the detail. I've never had any problems with that. Yeah, so I'm not sure what was happening there. Coma, it needs to be heated very much. Yes, it does. It needs, like I said, it needs to be really heated up. Like I said, boiling water, and I leave it for like 5 minutes in boiling water. 2 to 5, usually 5. It's when it looks like a jellyfish in there, not floating around all dispersed. I don't think it does that. I've never left it in so long that it just, because I mean the water, the temperature when you put it into the water, immediately it will take up the heat inside that water, but then the water is constantly decreasing in temperature, right? It's not like you're leaving it on a constant source where heat is constantly being added to it, right? It's not like that kind of situation. The heat is constantly dissipating from whatever source you're putting it in, so that immediately when the silicone goes in, it absorbs the heat, takes that in, and takes up the rest of the heat inside the boiling water so that it can become very malleable. Like I said, I've never had a problem with that stuff, so I don't know. And I've done, in the past, I've done lots of molds of stuff. Last thing I used it on was, last thing I did it was the conversion of a true scale marine. And I did copies of marine with the lurls and stuff like that, and I copied those details and transferred them onto another model. And yeah, that was the last thing I did. But I mean, yeah, a little small piece like that. Now, I mean, if you're trying to use that stuff to make bigger molds of bigger pieces, then yeah, because I mean, the more resin you pour, especially if you're using 2-part resin, the more resin you use, the hotter it's going to get. I mean, it's just how it goes. And because it's an exothermic reaction, it's going to constantly push out heat, and then the silicone will take in that heat, and yeah, it will begin to soften. Yeah, so yeah, it all depends on what you're trying to do with it. I mean, like doing small green stuff, copies of things, super easy. Just mix a bit of green stuff, slap it in there, and cut your shape out, and you're done. And there's no heat because 2-part epoxy doesn't generate a lot of heat, if any. I don't think it does. It might. I don't know. 2-part epoxy, but I mean, like, we never really work with 2-part epoxy in any capacity or any quantity that it could heat up to that point. Like, anybody who's worked with 2-part resins for, like, pouring resins and stuff, yeah, those heat up. They're fast too. Like, once you like, I have a bunch of fast curing stuff. That's what I make the steady hand grips out of. And yeah, you mix that up. You've only got maybe about 5 minutes to pour it, and then all of a sudden you just see that reaction just kick right in through the resin, and it just becomes opaque. It looks like a clear liquid, and then it just becomes opaque in a second, and it just that reaction is just so hot that you could scald yourself. And like, even like the size of bit that is a steady hand grip, which is, where is it? Here we go. Like this, just this size. Oh yeah, you can scald yourself. I like, immediately after pouring, I cannot touch, even if it's hard. Like, yeah, you can just barely just touch it and you'll burn yourself because it's so hot. It's hot. Doc Commission episode 310, making molds from breast implants. From breast implants? Oh, because the way that thing looks, yeah. Evan Belleau, I can never say the word. The mold looked great. I even made it with registration marks, but casting just would not work for me. Yeah, I don't know. Again, were you casting with 2-part resins? And were you trying to cast something fairly large, something substantial? Then yeah, it will. The heat will just soften. I mean, like, obviously think about it, right? A 2-part or a silicone that reacts to being reheated and heated and reheated to make molds. And if you put something in it that's going to heat up, yeah, it's going to deform the mold. And unless, of course, you're using really fast curing resin, it's not going to retain its shape properly. So I don't know. You would have to describe to me the whole process, dude, on what you were doing for like what went wrong. But I mean, if you were trying to cast with 2-part resin and most 2-part resins heat up, they have the exothermic reaction where they heat right up and hot. Yeah, they will. I mean, the silicone is designed to be reused, and how do you reuse it? You add heat to it, right? So. Edward Horseman, hey Kris, would you mind if I sent you pics of my keeper of secrets for critique? Would I mind? No. Send them to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It's in the description below. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites because I won't even bother looking at it. And yeah, actually, I've had a thought about this. Good thing you mentioned it right now. What time are we at? Yeah, we got time to talk about this. Because did anybody send any emails? I don't even know if there. A bunch of emails came in. Damn it. Damn it, a bunch of emails came in. Oh, well. Anyway. Can't remember what I was going to talk about now. Oh, right. Sending emails, pictures, and stuff like that. I was thinking of maybe incorporating or possibly, I don't know, alongside basically having a segment on the show where we take a quick peruse through, hashtag Way of the Brush, right? I was kind of doing that on another program where we take a quick look through the hashtag and, you know what I mean? And people could just share on Instagram, their stuff. And of course, it kind of plugs their Instagrams and, and it's all about sharing and, and having a look at things. And, doing it on Instagram would be pretty easy. It's not that big of a challenge. And there's really not a lot of ads that run on Instagram, not much anyway. So it's not a huge issue. But yeah, I was thinking about that. What do you guys think? Should I include a segment on the show where we do a live kind of look through Instagram? And the other thing about the Instagram too is that they don't allow a lot of offensive material, so we really wouldn't have to worry too much. Of course, I probably would check the hashtag, just to make sure. But that kind of stuff, right? But anyway. But yes, to answer your question, Edward Horseman, yeah, you could send me an email. Go right ahead. Aaron Seach, howdy Kris and monkey brethren. Consider this my fashionable late entrance. Well, it is considered then. Inyabu, episode 310. I can't believe it's still hot. You know what? I'm going with it, Inyabu. I'm going with it. That's the name of the show today. I can't believe it's still hot. Because I can't believe it's still butter. Or it's not butter. No, wait. Is it butter? It was butter. Can't believe it's not butter. I'm surprised nobody mentioned anything about the 4-finger dip. Oh, man. Evan Belleau, Kris, I've done resin casts in silicone molds for bases before. They turned out grand. My issue is making a single cast of an old 90s rocket launcher for a long fang Peter Mini, small parts, 2-part epoxy. Yeah, just do it. Just talking about 2-part epoxy, like just regular liquid 2-part epoxy, like just kind of like like the ones that comes in the syringe. You can just squirt that in. Or are we talking about like the green stuff, like that 2-part epoxy? As far as it not turning out in the mold, now are you doing it like a 2-part mold because you just jam green stuff into both sides of the mold, give them a bit of pressure, squeeze, create a bit of a flash around them, and you just clean that flash afterwards? I mean, yeah. Because that's silicone. Like it holds its its shape. I've done multiple pressings from a single casting. So I mean, that particular brand I have, it's not that brand, or Ramu or whatever the hell this is. I can't remember who the hell sells it. It was like somebody like Secret Weapon, or I mean, maybe it was Secret Weapon. But it might be a reboxing of frick. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look here. I don't even know if that would be in there. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of it was. I don't have the package. It was so long ago when I bought this stuff. And I've used it plenty of times. Maybe it wasn't Secret Weapon. I can't remember. It comes in a package. It's blue and black. The label's blue and black. It comes in a blister pack, and that stuff is in clear. It's in clear pack. Or maybe it was Cool Mini or Not. That's where I bought it. Or it's not where I bought it. I bought it at a hobby store, but I'm pretty sure they sold what they sold, right? Does that make sense? Mini or Not. Where's their store? Do they still have a store? I don't even know if they still have a store. They must still have a store. Why wouldn't they have a store? Shop. There we go. I don't even know if maybe they might not even sell this stuff anymore. I don't know. It's been years and years and years. Years and years and years. And years and years and years. Do they even have hobby supplies? Oh, in stock. In stock, out of stock. Okay, well, what's the stock? Come on, is this their store? Do they not sell hobby supplies? I'm going to get annoyed here in a sec. This is the worst. This is the worst. Category: board games, miniature games, card games. So I don't think they sell hobby supplies anymore. Cool Mini or Not is not about minis. It's about board games. Apparently. Ooh, lots of chibis. Ooh, chibis. And dice. Ugh. Anyway, it was something Cool Mini or Not used to sell. I'm pretty sure it was in their store, and it was this 2-part epoxy. It was the same thing as that Yamaru, whatever the hell it's called. And yeah, okay, you know what? I'm done. I don't. Let's try mold. Nope. Do they even sell supplies? Even sell supplies. Star Wars. They sell Star Wars stuff. Thanks. This is excellent. No, I don't think Cool Mini or Not sells shit anymore. I don't think they sell shit. Yeah. Reziel, surprised no one has mentioned blue stuff. I've not used it, but always seen it around for small part castings. Blue stuff, yeah, it's a silicone. A fellow, his website, Master of the Forge. That's actually Reziel. That's a good one. But if you're probably already aware of blue stuff, then you're probably already aware of Master of the Forge. He's got some really great write-ups. I don't know if he produces any videos or anything like that, but he has. Go to his website, type in Master of the Forge, or is it Forge Master? Master of the Forge. But anyway, really fantastic site, and he was one of the ones that I followed the guide for creating true scale Space Marines at the time before Primaris were a thing. So yeah, really fantastic site, and he does a lot of green stuff work. Oh, green stuff sells it too. Blue stuff, they sell it as blue stuff. No, I don't think blue stuff is the same thing though. But Green Stuff World sells that the mold, the 2-part mold. You can hear how slow I type, eh? Piss off with the ads. Okay. Sculpting supplies, right? That's what we want. Reusable blue stuff. There we go. Yeah, this is the same shit right here. Yeah, so Green Stuff World sells it. It's reusable blue stuff. It's all the same shit. They even sell 2-part silicone putty to make your own mold, I guess. I like the reusable stuff. I mean, if you're not using like a 2-part epoxy resin, then it's not too big a deal. But yeah, apparently Green Stuff World sells it. Aaron Seach, 4-finger dip. What the fuck is that? Sounds like I missed some monkey shenanigans. Yeah, we've talked about that one before. Don't worry. When and where, I don't remember, but it's just something to watch out for. You go to your friends, and you go to the bathroom, and it's like, oh, you have a bit of like I'm a bit chapped. Do you got some Vaseline or something? And say, yeah, sure. And then you open up the container, especially if you got the big industrial size. You open it up, and it's got like a big 4-finger dip in it. Yeah, you watch out. Coma. Every brand calls it something. Yeah, apparently everybody is calling it something. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but I'm pretty sure it was Cool Mini or Not when they had their regular store and they were selling like miniatures and paints and stuff like that. Yeah, it was in their section, but I bought that supply I bought at a hobby store, and I'm pretty sure it was the same package that Cool Mini or Not was selling it. Anyway, I can't remember what the hell the name of it was though, but it's all the same crap. If it's a reheatable casting silicone, it's the same thing. Reziel, I don't think you need to heat the blue stuff. No, blue stuff is a regular pourable silicone. It's just like it's 2-part, equal part silicones. Because there's some silicone molds that are not equal part. They mix by ratio, like a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 ratio. Of like, there's a catalyst that has got to be added to the silicone, and then there's 1 to 1 mix silicone, which I prefer because it's just easier to do work 1 to 1 rather than trying to measure it all out and you got to be exact and everything, right? So Edward Horseman, email sent. I look forward to your thoughts. Okay, well, we're definitely gonna have to jump to that email. Frick's sake, Kris, I just clicked what you meant by 4-finger dip. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. That 2-part silicone is like silly putty in consistency, yeah, and can't be reused, and in my opinion much better than blue stuff, but I like the liquid silicone rubber better since it's possible to pour. The stuff I use is from Smooth On. I use Smooth Ons. I used to use Tap Plastics, but theirs is just a little bit pricey, and there's no easy way to get my hands on Tap Plastics in Canada without crossing the border, versus Smooth On, which there is a distributor just over in Hamilton, so it gets to me pretty quick, and yeah, so I use Smooth On for silicone, for castings. And also, I think I still have my other one that I made the casting of my hand. Yeah, the alginate stuff. Anyway. Charles Carmichael. Hi, Kris. Log just for a quick hello. Hello, Charles. Razia, LOL. Email time? Yes. Knitfink. Hello, Knitfink. Simon. Sold it under the name Instamold. Thank you. Knitfink. Yes. Knitfink with the save. Thank you, Knitfink. Instamold. That's what it was called. Thank you. Instamold for insting. All right. Let's do another email because holy crap, we got 5 minutes left of the show and old Kris has got places to be. This is from Kenneth? Well, I will say Kenneth. Hey Kris, this is going to be a bit of a pick dump, but it is just my first email, so yes, I have a couple of work in progress pieces here. The Ultra and the War Priest I'm painting for D&D. Also included are a couple finished projects using some bits from Anvil Industries and Dreamforge. I have separated them into a few emails. CNC is always welcome. So let's have a peek at Kenneth's work. Ooh, I like it. I like the colors in this. Very nice. Nice work on the flesh. Now, I'm going to assume this model is a pewter casting. Like the armor looks textured like pewter. I'm just wondering, like, or maybe is that deliberate? I don't know. Looks like true metallics too. Nice work on the cloak. Nice highlights. Really nice work on the flesh. Ooh, nice scroll. Little writing. Ultramarine. Very interesting highlighting on the arm there. Kind of a stippling. Very, very interesting. I think if you were doing it a bit more in a controlled fashion. Now, I'm not saying that this is not controlled, but if you were pushing the stippling a little bit closer to the edges. Now, I'm not sure what you're using to stipple this. If you're doing a sponge, then bravo, because that's kind of huge. But if you're doing it with a brush, yeah, I would push it closer towards edges and such. Really nice highlighting on the helmet, though. Nice and bright. Now, see, you got clean edges going on here. Is it weathering that you're doing? Is it battle damage? Is that what you're doing? That's really clean edges on the arm, though, and the leg. Those are very tight highlights. Really nice. Yeah, this fella here, like, see on his chest armor, it looks very textured, and I'm wondering if that's the miniature or if that was, yeah. But really nice painting. I mean, and it has that very old school kind of look to it. This looks like an Imperial Preacher from 40K, but looks like it's on a square base, which means he's old fantasy. Is that what he is? But very, very nice work, Kenneth. Awesome stuff. Thank you for sending that in. You know what? I think you sent in more, didn't you? Yeah, you did. We got part 2 here. Okay, hold on. Come back to part 2. So here's part 2 of Kenneth's work. This looks like conversion. It's like a bolt gun with a grenade launcher underneath. What is the model from? It's not a Space Marine. Looks like a Space Marine, but it's not a Space Marine. Very cool, though. He looks pretty lonely on that base. Is there more stuff going to be on that base? Because otherwise that base seems really, really huge. Oh, you got some heat tempering on the gun. That's very cool. Got a bit of OSL going on in the eyes. Very nice. I think just a little bit better separation on the armor plates, or a little bit more, something a little bit defining, just creating a bit more separation on them, I think would be pretty cool. But otherwise, you know, it looks really cool. I was very impressed with your Space Marine, to be honest. A really nice, smooth highlights. I like it. You know, I mean, Space Marines, you know, are one of those things that, you know, you can paint them up really messy, you can paint them up really clean, you know. I like the barbed wire. It's really cool. Yeah, I'm not sure where this model's from. This is because it looks like some like a third party. It looks like an imitation Space Marine, but I don't know if it is, because it does not look to me like an old Games Workshop sculpt. It looks more like something somewhat recently. Any comments? Any? Keoma, I get it from Easy Composite in the UK. They are a resin company. Their silicone random rubber is awesome. Sure. Again, I don't think anybody's putting out stuff out there that's like, oh, we're going to deliberately put out crappy products. The Grand Wombat, it's a pewter cast. Oh, and yes, I'm working on the battle damage. Ah, okay, cool. And you got him years ago? Okay. Grand Wombat typo. Yeah, really nice work on the Space Marine and the human character. I don't know what he's from. The model doesn't really look familiar, but then I mean, like, I'm not that familiar with, like, let's say, like, older fantasy stuff, so I couldn't tell you. And the dude with the blue and yellow on his pads there, where's that model from? Or he said he got them years ago. Yeah. So, either way, very interesting, very cool. Yeah, the battle damage. That battle damage. There's two ways you can go about doing that one, right? You can do it by sponge. I'm not sure how you went about laying those first initial color down. But seeing as how you appear to have very good brush control, doing those nice smooth edges on the armor, there's two ways you can create that battle damage. One, lay that color down and then take a silver and duplicate kind of where you laid that first patterning down, so it kind of falls within, sort of roughly, and gives you that chipped armor right to the metal kind of look. Or you can come in with a lighter blue or even darker blue, because you can come in with, like, say, a darker blue below the base coat and your highlight color, and you can lay the darker blue wherever you imagine light source. So typically the light sourcing is directly above the model, and so what you can do is each of those little shapes, those little abstract shapes you've created, you put a darker edge along the upper portion of each of those shapes, and then you add a brighter highlight color along the bottom edge of each of those little shapes, and that creates that illusion that it is recessed into the armor. If you did it in the opposite way, where the brighter edge is on top and the darker edge is on bottom, then it will feel like it's coming forward out of the armor, right? Because basically you're imagining that the highlight is coming out, and so it's right, the light sourcing is here and comes on top, and then there's a shadow. That's right. But if it's recessed, then the shadow will be in the upper edge and the highlight will be along the bottom edge. Does that make sense? I'm sure you already knew that, right? I'm sure I was probably reiterating all that just to talk and hear my own voice. But really, really fantastic work, Grand Wombat. Awesome stuff. All right, another email. Where the hell's my window? Another email. This one is from our good buddy Raziel. Hey Kris and monkeys, just some pics to look at my latest model conversion. Looking for CNC on green stuff, but also any other thoughts. Already got this guy nearly painted, but I'll use any comments for the future. Thanks, Rez. And so let's have a look. Oh yeah, I seen this. You posted this on Discord. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. He's got a big choppy sword. Really fun. Oh, I like your work on the feet. I like those big hooves. Those big hooves are big and crazy. I like the hood. The hood's cool. That's a really interesting conversion. What are all the parts from? Probably a lot to list, right? And the chain around the wrist is that a metal chain or is that a plastic chain? I have to know because that's really cool. It looks like a metal chain, just colored, but I could be wrong. Your green stuff work, like on the hood, looks good. On the hooves, it looks like you did a lot of work after the fact, after it cured. But nothing looks wrong with it. I think you just need to refine it a little bit more, just to clean up some of the edges and such, because it might be a problem down the road when you start laying paint on it. I don't know. Also, too, in that video I posted for patrons about working with green stuff, I don't know if I mentioned that you need to clean afterwards. Just take some iso alcohol and you just take a Q-tip and just run it over the surface, just clean any excess. Oh, it goes further back. Oh, look at that. It drapes along the back. Ah. And I just realized my doogie is with me. Hey, doogie? Now she's starting to pet. Silly dog. She's pawing my foot. Yeah, I like the way it drapes on the spine. I think you could have accomplished this effect where it didn't have to fall too far in towards the nape of the back, the inside curvature closest to like the lumbar region, you know what I mean? I don't know if it needed to fall that far or fall further. I mean, most of that, like honestly, how that looks, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's got a lot of texture to it, but This model appears to be very nurgly, so that is going to work in your favor. I think, like, when I'm dealing with green stuff, I treat it like how I treat photography. Get it right the first time. Or get it, pretty damn close to where I want it, off the hop. Now, not meaning that as you lay this big wad of green stuff down and try and get it all accomplished in one go, I'd be mindful not to do that. That, in fact, you may want to build up in layers, but of course, if you know how to work with it in a very smooth and controlled fashion, you can build up and just merge those previous steps together. Yeah. But really cool. Thanks, Reziel. Anybody else who wants to keep up on his progress, join us in our Discord, and not drop a bunch of N-bombs in it, because that'll just get you banned. Because I don't abide by that silliness. I don't abide by it. I don't abide. The dude doesn't abide by that. Where am I? Reziel, most Death Guard parts. Mortarian spare arm. Okay. Bloat drone armor for the left pauldron. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. And armature faceplate for the breather. Custom styrene sword. Metal craft jewelry chain. Okay, so the jewelry chain is metal. It just has like a plastic coating on it or something. Okay. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Chroma must be the color that does so we all think it's plastic. Yeah, that's what I thought at first, right? Well, and it also had that really glossy coat to it, and so at first I thought it was plastic, and I was like, well, shit, where'd you get that fine plastic chain? Because that looks like something that I'll pick up a couple spools of tiny plastic chain, right? But for now, it appears that tiny plastic chain is still the domain of metals. And I see the Wombat joined us on Discord. Awesome. Welcome. I'll send it. I'll type you a welcome later. Not right now. I'm busy. I'm doing stuff, man. Come on. I thought, Wombat, you were already part of our Discord, weren't you? I know, Wombat, you've been around for a long time. I'm surprised that you're just joining today. Today, of all days. Getting hit by racists. The racists are out today, apparently. Reziel, I wanted to cover his Slaneshi sexy butt cheeks. I don't think you have to do that. I mean, you look at plague bears. I guess you can put some like boils and things. Put some things on his butt if you want. I mean, if you want a challenge, yeah, put some of those boils, or even those boils that look like they're breaking through the skin. You know how they sculpt those, where it's a circular form, but it's kind of like a cratering around it. Try sculpting one of those like on his butt. I wouldn't go too huge, and I wouldn't go too many. I'd probably go only like maybe one and then two on the other cheek, kind of thing, right? Kind of like if you look at the plague bear's bums. Don't look at Nurgle bums, because you'll be at that all day. It's just a big distraction. Those little Nurgles, they're a distraction. Look at the plague bears. Plague bears are like, oh my god, buddy, you need help. You need something more than 2-ply to help you with that. Reziel, like I said, almost finished in paint, so I'll post that soon. I'm pretty happy after the paint, but now I can improve a lot. Yeah, definitely. That conversion looks really cool. I mean, I don't know if you posted any updates in the Discord, but yeah, and feel free to send me an email too, because we'll show it on the show as well. James Kent dropped out for a while, come back, and we're still on bums. When aren't we on bums? When aren't we on bums? You go back into the catalog of shows and tell me when we did not talk about bums at all. At all. Any bums. Any. Enforcer 357, look at your Nurgle bum now. Now, back to the Death Guard. Now, back to the Nurgle bum. Yeah. Ghost Starman looks. Always look at Nurglebums. A good distraction. Yeah, well, you know. All right, last one. Last email. I'm reading. I'm not reading anymore today. Because, yeah, it's already 11 minutes after. Might help if I pull up my thing that allows me to change things. Things about the things. This one's from Edward Horseman. Oh, Edward. Hello. Hey, Kris. Hope all is well with you. It's not too bad. If you don't mind, could you please critique my Keeper of Secrets? I painted it entirely by brush with some zenithal highlighting priming. I've added photos from other angles of the model. Looking forward to your thoughts. Edward Horseman. Horseman? Horseman. Horseman. It's probably not how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's probably Oarsman. It's probably something like that. It's Oarsman. Not Horseman, you ass. Anyway. This is a little blurry on the claw, but that's okay. I'm looking... I mean, it looks really good. I like that little gemstone. The cloak looks nice and smooth. I like the blue in the claw. Looks like it's all persists throughout the flesh. Very interesting thing on the base. Oh, it's like leaves. You took the leaves from the trees, didn't you? Is that what you did? That's what you did. You took the leaves, and they're walking on the leaves on the ground. I get it. I get it. Oop, no, that's not what I want to do. Oh, for frick's sakes. There we go. I like the color scheme. I like the light blue with the deep magenta, the deep red purplish tone magenta. Or was it? Or would that be more of a plum? Is that a plum? Anyway, I like the work on the leather. It's very clean. I like the flesh. The flesh. I mean, the photo is a little bit soft, so it's kind of hard to see. But it's entirely by brush. I believe it. I believe it. Really nice work on the cloak. And the thing is that it's a nice big model, so it gives you lots of opportunity to, you know, go for those nice color transitions, which it looks really good. This is a really well put together model. This is a nice and, you know, nicely painted model, nice and clean. Nothing jumps out at me like, you could have went here, you could have went there. The color scheme, I dig the color scheme. I like that coloring along the tail. I like how you have that repeated patterning of the, you know, little steps of shade. I like the highlights on the claws, how that transitions through the arms. Now, mind you, I mean, just because of the lack of clarity in the picture, you know, I mean, like, I can't give 100%, but I'm just looking at the color and just like how, you know, the transition. I'm gonna assume those transitions, you know, were painstakingly added to the model. I mean, color looks like it's where it's supposed to be. I mean, you know, nothing, like I said, nothing jumps out at me like, oh, well, you could have went here. Oh, well, you could have went there. I like it. I like that your choice of like that white leaf on the base. It frames the model nicely, you know, rather than going for just a, you know, brown base, you know, and, you know, tufts of grass. You brought that nice striking white in there, and it helps, you know, separate the model from the base. It's a good choice. It's a good choice. I approve. Yeah, without really clear pictures, I mean, like, it looks really good. It looks really good. The only thing that I will say is that I don't see how the Zenithal Prime was used. But mind you, though, these images with the harsh light on the one side, it's kind of hard to discern, you know, what is painted, what is natural shadows, what are artificial shadows. You know what I mean? So I say that with the little asterisks. I mean, a lot of times, when talking about zenithal priming and such, I often wonder why some people even bother with the step, other than maybe to help you discern where highlights should fall, but otherwise people rarely ever use the zenithal priming, because basically when you are going with a zenithal prime, you're okay. First of all, a lot of people use two primers, and I caution against that, because primer tends to be pretty heavy, and when people are using dark primers like black, the tendency is to really kind of lay that into the model, right? So you're applying a somewhat heavy amount of primer onto the model, and then you're going to lay it gray or even just a pure white, depending on how you do it. If you just do it two tones, but that's another layer of primer you're putting down on the model. So think about how much paint you've already put onto the model. You put two products that are designed to be thick on a model surface on a model where you're dealing with fine details, right? And then they start using opaque paints and apply it onto the model surface. So you lay that zenithal coloring down, and then you apply an opaque paint over that area. Well, what the frick was the point of creating the zenithal prime if you're going to lay an opaque color on top of it? Now, if it was just to help you zero in on where shadows would fall, where to place your highlights, okay. If it was a guide, okay. If it was part of the paint job, then you're being not very efficient with your application of paint. So, yeah, I often wonder about that. And I see that a lot. I see that from a lot of people all over the place at various levels. And I'm like, why are you bothering with Appreciate or zenithal hot prime, and you are using an opaque color on top of it? It doesn't, like, if you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, or you're doing it because you saw somebody else doing it, is the wrong reason to do it. Because somebody else did it is the wrong reason to do it. Understanding why it occurs. Now, if the person that you saw do it, and you're doing it because you saw somebody do it, and so you're doing it, is the wrong reason to do it. And if they can't explain to you why you would want to do it, then you probably shouldn't do it, and because they don't know why it's being done. Right? So, just be mindful of that. Edward Horseman, separating the model from the base is something I wanted to achieve, so thanks to for pointing that out. Yes, definitely, that, like, laying out the white flowers, and I like that. It has that almost from the Japanese films, where the little blossoms are all over the ground, and you know what I mean. It has that kind of. It adds to the mystique of the character, of the sculpt itself. That it's this elegant monster that's going to, most likely kill you in the most pleasurable way possible, right? At least that's what the impression should be, right? Is that this monster is going to do horrible things to you, and you're going to enjoy it in some level, right? So that's what that feels like. It feels like it's like a bedding of the cherry blossom. Yeah, the cherry blossom. Thank you, Andy Clark. Yeah, the cherry blossoms, and it's coming forward, and it's coming for you, and it's this elegant, monstrous creature that's just you're probably going to enjoy it and not enjoy it at the same time. Edward, apologies about the photos. I took them quickly late last night on the crappy phone camera. I will try to take some better photos for you to critique. Yeah, just, yeah. Thank you. Reziel, I know when I first saw zenithal priming, I didn't fully understand the idea was to use something like more transparent inks on top. Learn that relatively quickly. Yes, definitely. And zenithal priming, honestly, stop priming with 2 primers or even 3 primers. Stop using black primer, gray primer, and a white primer. Stop using 3 layers of primer. My God, man, that's too much primer. If you need to, just simply use a black prime and then use a gray ink a white ink, right? I mean, just use an ink. An ink will go right on top and cover it. Like Liquitex ink, if you do it with Liquitex, you can even prime it white, lay a black ink down, lay a gray, lay a white, and then lay your colors down. Of course, it doesn't have to go from black to white. Especially if you're playing with contrast paints, I would recommend just going to about a mid-tone gray. A mid-tone gray, that's as dark as you go. And go up to a pure white, or bone, or gray, whatever. But, yeah, I wouldn't go all the way to a black. It's unnecessary, because the contrast paints, when they build into the recesses, they go quite dark. Pretty much all the colors other than yellow, red, and, well, even the red goes pretty dark. Yellow, orange, and the ethermatic blue, the light blue. They don't build very dark. Oh, and apothecary white. It doesn't build too dark. Too dark. It's opaquish, but yeah. Anyway. Rezio, also seen a black prime with a thin white ink used, as Kris describes, as a tool to inform the painter of model highlights and details. Using the ink that way helps keep the details much better. Yes, definitely. Like I said, if you're doing it as a guide to where you place your highlights, if you're going for that light sourcing, then don't let me stop you. Keep going. Keep doing it. If you're going to do that, I highly recommend, like if you're doing the model and you're going to do the zenithal prime just to see where your light sourcing is and everything like that, excellent, by all means. But take a picture. Try and take a good picture of where everything's falling, so that you have a record of it, so that you can refer to it when you're painting the model. Because then once you start laying the opaque colors down, and you're kind of like, oh wait, did it go like this, or how did it look, and how did that, right? Just take a picture of it, just as your guide. If it's just your guide, right? Just do it. What time are we at here? Holy camolies, I better get off here soon. Coma, I only do zenithal if I go transparent over, or to pick out my lights and shadows, but mostly I prime one color. Yeah. I usually only prime white or gray. I hardly ever use black. I use gloss black if I'm going metallics. But otherwise, yeah, I don't prime black. The darkest I go, usually I prime gray. Just because white sometimes under the bright lights, it just hurts my damn eyes. Getting old, people, and it hurts my eyeballs, and so. But otherwise, yeah, it's usually gray, because then I can see all the details. But unfortunately, though, I use Stynol. It's unfortunate. It's a minor thing. I use Stynol Res light gray for a primer. I've been loving that. Use it with the airbrush. I prime by airbrush all the time nowadays, and it is the same hue as GW styrene plastic. So it's hard to tell when you've primed the model where you've got the primer. But thankfully, I'm not into over priming a model. I usually just, and I have a fairly consistent system for laying primer down, and it has worked for me so far. So, not a huge issue. Jabba's left nut. You'll enjoy it if the monster uses 4 fingers of Vaseline. You won't enjoy it if the monster puts brick dust in the Vaseline first. Oof. Brick dust. God dang, man. That's graphic. That's graphic. Coma. I use Liquitex white ink mixed with a few drops of ultra matte varnish from AK Interactive to knock back the gloss of the ink. Sure. Yeah. There's many ways to achieve an end result. Many ways. And my whole point is just that. There are many ways to get to a desired end result. Do not, not pigeonhole yourself into thinking that there's only one way to achieve a particular result. There are many ways. And you have to open your mind up to all these possibilities and see. But oftentimes we only see that whenever we start playing with color and playing with the material and experimenting and finding out, what we can do, and and another also is where we learn what we can do, or what our current skill set allows us to accomplish, and is our vision enough, or are we not dreaming big enough, or these kind of things, right? And you're only ever going to discover that until you actually start doing it, sitting there thinking about it all day long, pondering on, does this work? Should I get these paints? Should I get these brushes? Should I try this technique? Should I do this? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck off with that. Just start painting. Get your paintbrush, grab some paint, start slapping some model onto that paint. Slap some model onto that paint, and get to work. Just start getting to work and start playing, and just start experimenting with it. don't worry about failing at it. Don't worry if it doesn't work out. Yes, you can always strip the model and start over again if you have to. Or you can save it and you say, well, then this is, this was a failed experiment in trying this out, and so I tried it this way and this worked, and it worked for me. I seen somebody else advise doing it this way. It really didn't work for me. I tried it this way, and I tried a combination of what this person said and what this person said, and I found the middle ground, and it worked for me. All these things, there are many, many ways to get to our desired end result. There's no one way, and that's the beauty of this hobby, is that there are many ways to accomplish an end goal. Having an end goal is nice. Sometimes it doesn't reveal itself until you start sitting down and start actually playing around and moving color around. So, yeah. Resia, I use a lot of Stunner Res Black. It's awesome too. I use gray on anything with a brighter scheme. One major exception is the Nurgle stuff, and despite its expense, I swear by Death Guard rattle cans. Sure, we'll use whatever. I mean, people shit on the Citadel spray cans, but I mean, for color matching and making your life a little bit easier, why not? I mean, I like the Wraithbone spray. The Wraithbone spray is good because it tastes. And the white rattle can white. What is the white called? Corax white now, or no, Skull white? I can't remember what the white's called. Anyway, I like Citadel white. I've always enjoyed Citadel white when I was using spray cans. Yeah, because I always found it had just a light dusting on the model. It always had enough grab for paint to sit on. Yeah. I've always enjoyed Citadel white, and it's a very dusty and it's cloudy primer. Oof! Always use it outside. Don't ever use it indoors. Jeez Louise. But I've always enjoyed Citadel white. And Wraithbone, it smells like Citadel white, so it's got that same smell. Whatever that mixture is, I have no idea. Not that I'm sitting there huffing paint in my hobby space, but but I'm sitting there huffing paint. Dark Mission. Xandri Dust spray is good primer for models with lots of flesh. Sure. Why not? Sure. White's just as good. Wraithbone's just as good. I mean, if you're playing around with the contrast, man, Wraithbone with Gilliman flesh, boom, done. Flesh is done. If you're just getting primer, if you're just getting, models done, if that's your goal, yeah, why not? Go Starman Alex. Wait, you guys didn't huff the paint? Am I doing it wrong? Yeah, just. If you're brand new to this hobby, or you want some help with the color scheme, maybe you're a commission artist, want to show off your wares, your skills, what have you, or you just want some help, whatever it is, send your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites. So, yeah. And, of course, also in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com. Central hub of all the cinemas, has links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. So, awesome stuff. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself tastefully in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Patreon support is also on wayofthebrush.com, and it's also in the description below as well. There's a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons who currently support me. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. And of course, I've been producing tutorials and such. I've got all sorts of stuff on this channel, so if you're not familiar with my channel, check out other videos. And also, if you're Patreon support, I do have patron-only videos, tutorials and such, so check those out as well. I have varying tiers to support, and of course, there's some other perks along with some of those other tiers as well, so be sure to click on one that sounds of good value to you. Big one being early access. Early access is really a big one, which most people seems to be, I'm in about 2 weeks ahead. So if you really want to know what's coming down the pipe in the next 2 weeks, you might as well join now because that's where we're at. So if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, clicking thumbs up, liking, following, subscribing, sharing the video, and all that stuff, all the usual YouTube, Twitch crap, that stuff helps. Ringing the bell. There's been a whole bunch of stuff about the ringing the bell lately. I don't know what the hell's going on, but and all it takes is a couple clicks of a button, and you're helping me out tremendously. So, thank you for that as well. And that helps me out a great deal. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alpha, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Carl's no longer with us, so we still, out of respect to the man, say thank you to Carl, taking the time out of his busy day. So always much love for Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my big brother Evan for creating the intro outro music that plays before the beginning and end of the show. So always much love to my baby bro Evan. And of course, if you're into some rare comics and things of that nature, check out EB Comics. It's in the description. If you go down, scroll down through the description, you'll see Evan, and then you'll see EB Comics. Check it out. If you're into comics and you're into some rarities and, you know, antiques and things like that, he's posting all the time, so you might want to follow him on the Instagrams and, you know, whatever it is. If you're into comics, you know, check him out. If you're not, well, no biggie. But if you are, check him out. But if you're not, don't bother. But if you are, Enforcer, been a long time since I've even painted a model. Think I'll have to start up again in the winter season. Just start whenever you got a moment. Just sit down and just start painting. Set up your painting area. Sit down. Get your paints out. Get a little cup of water. Get your paper towel so you can wipe your brush off. Things like that. Just get your area ready and just start. Don't make excuses. You know. Don't make excuses. No excuses. No excuses. Play like a champ. No excuses. Oh, excuse me. All right. I think we're done. We're done? We're done. Yeah, I got places to be. Doug's already leaving. You're already leaving? You knew it was the outro time too? So my doggy left. Or she's leaving. No, she's still going. She's getting old, so she's got to take her time up the stairs. Yeah, there she goes. No, now she stopped for a scratch. I should just turn the camera that way so you guys can see what my doggy's doing. Enforcer. I'd have to unpack every model, move again, and then I'll pack it up still. We still all packed up. Well, whatever. When you can, man. When you can. I mean, obviously, yeah, if it's all still packed up, I mean, like, come on. Come on, James. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Resident. Great. Thanks. Great show. Yeah. Did we learn something today? I have no idea. Did we rant about stuff? A little bit. We got a little ranting out of the way, didn't we? We got a little ranting in today. Wasn't too much ranting, was there? I don't know. All right, I'm rambling at this point now. There's usually something else I say at the end of the show. What is it? What is it? Take care of those brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys next week. Next week? Yeah. We're getting close. We're getting close to... Maybe we'll take a break for a week or two. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see you guys later.